And we're going to start out by chanting Om together. So exhale everything out. Take a nice deep inhale. Try to really feel the vibration. We'll take one more. I'll have you come onto your knees, and we're going to just start to warm up the arms a little bit. So just taking really big arm circles. We don't often take our shoulders into this big range of motion, so just kind of notice how this feels first thing in practice. Then we can take the arms, roll to the other side. Ooh, that one's a little more sticky on moving this way. Just sort of notice what you feel here. And then go ahead and pause, clasp the hands together, turn the palms inside out, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And then hinge over to the right side, pressing the palms away, getting a stretch through the left, but also using a little bit of the core to hold you here. And come back to center. We'll hinge over to the left, or whichever side you didn't go to, since I'm not mirroring you guys. Come back to center. Bring the left arm across the body and hold on to it with the right. Pull it in towards you. You don't want it to be too high. We want it really just sort of low and across. You should feel that right in the shoulder. Sometimes along the outside of the shoulder, but sometimes a little more in the rotator cuff. And then take that same arm, bring it up overhead, press down on the elbow, and maybe lift up in your triceps. You can actually use the opposite hand to kind of help you lift it up. Reach the left fingertips down towards your butt, along your spine. And then go ahead and release. We'll take the other side. Right arm comes across the body. Left holds it up and in. You can kind of play with what feels best on the shoulder here. And go ahead and bring that elbow up and over. Take the left hand, press, kind of pull up on the tricep to elongate that stretch. And then go ahead and release. We'll come to a tabletop position. So in your tabletop position, start to think about that chaturanga. So we're not going to go anywhere near chaturanga yet. We'll start to move through cow pose, but just kind of think about the bend of the elbows maybe as you move towards cow pose. And then press the mat away, curl your spine for cat pose. Moving with the breath, inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Continue to move at the pace of your own breath. Maybe taking a little side to side movement or exaggerating the depth of your cat and cow to really warm up the spine this morning. With the cooler weather coming, that warmth is going to be really important. And then when you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. Hug your belly in towards your spine and then tuck your toes. Lift your tailbone, keeping the core engagement, moving into downward facing dog. First down dog of the practice, so bend the knees and walk your dog a little bit. You can shake the hips side to side. If it feels good, you can come forward and back into a plank to down dog. Just kind of working out the kinks, working out the cold. And then when you're ready, come to stillness, gaze towards the back of the mat, and start to find your Ujjayi breath. Create a constriction in the back of your throat, moving the air in through the nose and out through the nose as you are able, starting to build heat and build focus. Go ahead and walk your hands back to meet your feet at the back of the mat. Feet stay hips width apart. We'll take a ragdoll pose, hands to opposite elbows. I like a nice deep sway. If you're somebody who normally bends your knees in this pose, I invite you to straighten the knees, and that might bring you a little bit out of the stretch, but that's okay, a little bit higher up, just getting really deep into the hamstrings. And then release your hands down, clasp them behind your back, staying in your forward fold, and then reach hands to the space behind you or up overhead. Bring hands back down to the mat, press down into the feet, and slowly roll up to standing. Arms sweep up overhead. You're at the back of your mat. Find a mountain pose. Rooting down through the feet. Lift your quads, lift your belly, and then press your palms together overhead. And then while you're here, don't just touch the palms together, but really press them into one another as if you're trying to squash something in between. In our house, I don't know what that would be, like a spider or some slime or putty or something like that. So really pressing, feeling that shoulder engagement, and then keep that press as you bring hands down to heart center, starting to feel some warmth in the shoulders and in the arms. Go ahead and release that press. Just take a full round of breath here. And then on your next inhale, sweep arms up overhead. And as you exhale, swan dive forward, hands reach back as you fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, flat back. Bring hands down to the mat, walk out into a high plank pose, pause here. Hug the belly in, grow long through the crown of the head. So gaze is tall towards the top of the mat or a little out ahead of it. Start to rock forward and back, using the toes to kind of propel you. And you might notice that this requires a little bit more core engagement. As you hold here and breathe here, rocking on the toes, notice that core engagement. We're going to take our first chaturanga, and I invite you to think about that little, what we did at the beginning. So we're going to hinge forward above the wrists that were in front of the wrists and lower just halfway down. And then we're going to hold here. And we're going to let a little heat build in the arms. And we're going to hug the belly up and in, and then press the mat away, lift back up to high plank, press back downward facing dog. We're going to take that a few more times, moving nice and slow, building strength through chaturanga. Come forward, lower down and hold. Breathe. Don't forget that part. That's pretty important. And then press back. Downward facing dog. This time we're going to move it into some push-ups. So come forward, lift the belly and the quads. So what that's going to do is keep you lifted, take a little bit of the hard work out of the arms, and also keep the arms safe. So we're going to lower halfway and then press back up tall. Lower halfway, press back up tall. Lower halfway. Oh no, how many is she going to do? Let's just do one more. Halfway down. Come back up, downward facing dog. Take a full round of breath here. So what I invite you to do today as we move through chaturangas is to think about that form of chaturanga and how it builds arm strength as we pause halfway there. And you could also do what I call doubling down on your chaturangas. So let's try it one more time, move forward. We're gonna take this to so we're gonna lower, press back up, lower, then flip to the tops of the feet. Come into your upward facing dog. And then lift hips high, down dog. Take a full round of breath here. So I invite you to do that as often in this practice as you'd like. I have found that doubling down on my chaturanga several times throughout practice has built a lot of arm strength and core strength over the, since I've started kind of doing that and working on that. So go ahead and walk the hands back to the back of the mat. Take a halfway lift and fold forward. Inhale up to mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to the mat, walk out to high plank. Lower halfway, press back up. Lower halfway, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Let's start to pick up the pace, moving with the breath. Inhale here. Exhale, hands walk to the back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk it out. Option to double down. Lower, lift, lower, then up dog, then downward facing dog. Moving with control. Inhale here. Exhale, back of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk it out, chaturanga or double it up. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, walk the hands back to the feet. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, walk it out. Chaturanga, maybe you double up. Inhale, up dog. Press the mat away, down dog one more time. Inhale. Exhale, back of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Half lift, inhale. Hands to the mat, walk it out. Double down if you're feeling it. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Connect to the breath. Nice big inhales and exhales. Start to feel the sensation in your palms and then slowly walk your feet forward. Keep the palms locked into the mat. Walk the feet in until your shoulders are right over the wrists. Press into the mat. Walk the feet in as far as you can go. Notice the press of the palms, the engagement of the core. Once you've gone as far as you can, come to the top of the mat. Bring the heel toe of the feet together. Half lift on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Sink your hips, reach high, chair pose. Lift your toes, bring the weight into the heels. We've already been working a lot into the arms and shoulders. So if at any time you need a little break here, just bring hands to heart center. So as long as the arms are up tall, we need to be working the muscles of the core and of the arms in order to avoid injury to those places. So anytime you need just a moment away, hands to heart center. From your chair pose, airplane the arms, hover the torso, bring the shoulder blades towards one another, hands lift a little closer to the ceiling, then flip your palms so that they're facing up towards the ceiling. From here, we're going to do this little kind of tricep press. So bend the elbows about 90 degrees and then press back. Bend the elbows, press back. Always keeping the belly hugging in. Lower body is strong for support. Working those triceps. Let's take two more. Press the ceiling up and away. Up and away. Back to chair pose and fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Hands to the mat, step back this time. Lower, double down if you want it. Building some strength, upward facing. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, heel towards the ceiling. Toes pointing down. Nice straight line from fingertips to the right heel. Draw knee to chest, hover and hold. Bring it back out long. Once more, knee to chest, hover and hold. I know I said once more, but it's actually once more now. Knee to chest, hover and hold. This time, step your right foot between your hands. We'll come up to warrior one. Back foot spins flat, pointing to the outside right, left edge of the mat. Arms come up. Root down into the outside edges of the feet, especially that left foot. Really lock it down into the mat. Arms reach high, gaze is out in front of you, not down. And then palms press. Press palms into one another. Find that engagement, build some heat in the shoulders. Then come forward, airplane the arms, hover. Shoulder blades are pulling towards one another. Hands are reaching up towards the ceiling. Gaze out long. Come back up, warrior one. Hands to the mat, step the right foot back, chaturanga, double down if you want. Up dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Flex the left foot, press the mat away. Knee to chest, hover and hold. Inhale it back out. Knee to chest. Inhale, back out. Once more, knee to chest. Step through between your hands, come up, warrior one. Find that rooting in the feet. Shoulders squaring off towards the front of the space. Locate your breath. Then press palms together overhead. Come forward, airplane the arms, hover. Shoulder blades pulling towards one another. Belly hugging up and in. Come back up, warrior one. Hands to the mat, step the left foot back. Double down if you want it. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Starting to move through that Sun B series with our breath. We'll start in chair pose. Inhale here. Exhale, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, airplane the arms. Flip the palms. Take those little presses. This is what you make of it. So if the arms just kind of hang, they're just going to kind of hang. If you want to build some strength, start to really think about this movement, pressing back and away. Do two more. Come back to chair pose. Forward fold. Half lift, inhale. Chaturanga, double down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Just once, knee to chest. Make it count. Inhale, back out. Step through between your hands. Come up, warrior one. Palms press. Exhale, airplane the arms. Inhale, back up, warrior one. Exhale, chaturanga. Always that option to double down. It's okay if you do, it's okay if you don't. Inhale the left leg high. Knee to chest. Inhale, back out. Step between the hands. Warrior one, inhale, palms press. Exhale, airplane and hover. Inhale, back to one. Exhale, chaturanga. Maybe you double it. Up dog. Downward facing dog, right leg lifts on the inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale it out long. Exhale, step through. Inhale, warrior one, palms press. Exhale, airplane the arms. Inhale, back up. Exhale, step it back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, length. Exhale, step through. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale to one. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take it through one more time at the pace of your own breath. We will all meet back in a downward facing dog. If you would like, once you're there, you can come down to a child's pose, get a drink of water. Let's stay here for a few rounds of breath. And then if you have left downward facing dog, please return there. Moving on, we will inhale the right leg high. Exhale, step through between the hands. This time coming up to crescent lunge. Take any adjustment you need to your stance. Maybe a little wider for balance, or a little longer to get nice and deep in that right knee. Notice if you're hugging the shoulders up to the ears and let them just relax down. You don't have to force them down, just release that tension. And then with arms reaching high, hover the back knee about an inch above the mat. Take the arms, turn the palms forward, and pull the shoulder blades towards one another to goalpost the arms. Come back up, palms pressed together, and then lower the arms. We're still hovering. Raise the arms and lower. Raise just the arms and lower. One more. And then come all the way up to crescent lunge and open up to warrior two. Feel grounded through the outside edges of the feet. Right knee working towards the outside right outside edge of the mat. Feel strong here, arms reaching in opposite directions. Then press the mat away with your front foot, straighten the front knee, palms pressed together, and exhale, release down, warrior two. We'll take that again, straighten, palms pressed, back to warrior two. One more time, press palms into one another. Deepest warrior two you've done so far. Then extended side angle, right forearm to right thigh, left arm reaching overhead. Hug the core so that maybe if you wanted to, you could lift the right arm up off that front leg. You don't need it to hold you up. If you'd like, you can reach the right arm towards the front of the space. And reverse your warrior. Keep the deep bend in the right knee. Feel that lovely stretch through the right side of the body. And then cartwheel, hands to the top of the mat. Step back, pause here, lower to a forearm plank. Giving a little break to the wrists. Nevertheless, hugging the belly up and in, press down into the elbows and the palms. Breathing here. Start to walk your feet into dolphin pose, getting a nice stretch in the shoulders. Press the mat out forward with your palms, getting a little deeper into the shoulder space. And then go ahead and walk your feet back so you're back in your forearm plank. Come up to tall arms. Option to take a chaturanga or even double down if you got it. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg high. Exhale, step through between your hands. We're coming up crescent lunge. Arms reaching tall. Take any adjustments you need to the lower body. Locate your breath. And then hover the back knee an inch above the mat. The knee is going to stay there as we move just the arms. Palms face the front of the room. Lower shoulder blades come together. Press back up. Lower to goalpost. Press back up. Lower and press. 2 more. Come back up, crescent lunge. Open warrior 2. Feeling strong, hips are open, shoulders are stacked over the hips. Gaze over the left fingertips. Flying warriors, straighten the front knee, palms press. Exhale it down. Let's take that again. And lower. Last time through, make it count. Deepest one yet. Extended side angle, left forearm to left thigh, right arm reaches. Engage that core, feeling strong. Stay rooted through the outside edge of the right foot to really keep you grounded in the mat until maybe that left arm floats forward. Then reverse your warrior. Reaching up and back. Cartwheel, hands to the top of the mat. Step back, lower, down to forearms. Focus on lifting up through the body and pressing down into the palms and the forearms to help keep you lifted. If you're feeling this in the neck, really engage the core. Then walk the feet in dolphin pose, get that shoulder stretch. Walk the feet back, you're in your forearm plank. Pause here a moment. And then come back up. Take your chaturanga. Double it if you want to. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Starting to add on to this. Inhale the right leg high. Exhale, step it through. Inhale up to crescent lunge. Exhale just once, but make it count. Goalpost, come back up, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior 2. One time, flying warrior. Release it down, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse. Come back up to warrior 2. Turn to face the side of the mat. Heels are in, toes are out. Reach up, palms press. Sink down, goddess pose, then goalpost the arms. Hover here. Engage your breath. Maybe you come down another inch. Then bring elbows to wrists in front of you. Hold here for a breath. And then we'll start to move, keeping the lower body just as it is. Open the arms. And then close. Keep them nice and lifted so they're not down at your belly button. They're shoulder height. Keep going with the arms. Lower the hips one more time. Then press into the heels, rise, 5-pointed star, reach up. Pivot your toes so they're parallel to the sides of the mat. Hands come to your hips, fold forward, Prasarita. Enjoy the head below the heart. Maybe you sway a little bit side to side. Hands can come to the floor or to the ankles. And since I'm offering all sorts of arm stuff today, you can stay here if you'd like. You can bring palms to the mat. Start to press into the palms and then just lift up off the heels. Engage the core as if you're going to take flight. If you're able, please feel free. But I find that you gain a lot of strength just by pressing into the mat, hugging the core, and press away as if you're just going to pop into a handstand or something like that. Even as you're not, you are building strength in the arms. Maybe one day. If you have the palms pressing, release them down one more time. Forward fold. And come up to a halfway lift. Pivot to the top of the mat. Bring your right foot back to meet the left. Pause here, side plank. On the right, rolling onto the outside edge of the right foot and the right palm. Hips are lifting. Always the option to drop the right knee to the mat or to float the left leg, or both. Stay with your breath. Level 2, do it with a smile. Option, if you have that left foot lifted, to keep it lifted as you bring the left hand down to the mat and take your chaturanga with the leg lifted. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step right through. Inhale up, crescent lunge. Exhale, goalpost and hover. Inhale, back up. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale up, flying warrior. Exhale down to warrior 2. Pause here a moment. Extended side angle. Reverse warrior. Come back to warrior 2. Pivot to the side of the mat. Heels are in, toes are out. Palms press overhead. Then sink the hips, goalpost the arms. Shoulder blades are pulling towards one another. Arms are strong here. Let's take those, I don't know what to call them. Bringing the elbows and wrists together in front. Moving with control. Close and open at shoulder height. A lot to think about here. Make sure your breath is engaged. Maybe you sink a little lower. Don't forget about those legs. We'll take 3 more. Last one. Press into the heels, 5-pointed star. This time, hands clasp behind your back as toes pivot. And as you fold forward for Prasarita, arms can reach up and over. Head releases down. If you'd like, you can take the clasped hands over to the right side. Get a nice stretch through the left shoulder. And then over to the left side, getting a nice stretch in the right shoulder. Come back to center, hands come down to the mat. Pivot to the top of the mat. Step your foot back. We're going to take a side plank on the left. Rolling to the outside edge of the left foot. Right arm lifts towards the ceiling. Keep the hips lifting high. Option to bring the left knee down to the mat. Option to float the right leg high. As we come out, moving with control, you may want to keep the right leg lifted and then move through your flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale here and exhale. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale, travel feet to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Hold here. Bring hands to heart center, hinge forward, twist to the right. And what would an arm clasp be without a few arm balances? So option here to take a side crow. Left elbow stays right on the right knee where it is. Start to lower the hips down to the heels and then bring the right elbow to the right hip. Hands come down to the mat a little wider than shoulder width apart. So you can stay here, pressing into the palms. There is always benefit to bringing weight into the hands in terms of building arm strength. You can also start to bring the crown of your head further away from your fingertips until maybe the feet float up off the mat. If the feet have left the mat, bring them back down. We'll come back to chair pose. And then press into the heels, lift up. Finding a tree pose, root into the right foot. Lift the left foot to the ankle, calf, or thigh. Hands can stay at heart center, or they can lift up overhead. Wherever you are, think about pressing the palms together. So we're always keeping that shoulder engagement. And I don't know if you noticed this, but when we press the palms, we create that engagement. It also tightens the core a little bit. So we get a little bonus strengthening of the core. I know you're excited. Bring hands down to heart center. Keep the left knee lifted, but turn towards the front of the room so you're in this one-legged mountain. We're going to move into a warrior three. Left foot starts to reach to the back of the space, arms reach forward. And we don't usually do this in warrior three, but focus on what your arms are doing. Palms are pressing in towards one another. Lift the thumbs a little bit higher towards the ceiling and reach the fingertips out and away. One more breath. Then bend the right knee, left toes to the back of the mat, crescent lunge. We'll move through it. Inhale here. Exhale, goalpost and hover. Inhale up. Warrior two. Palms press. Flying warrior. Back to warrior two. Inhale here. Exhale, extended. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, five-pointed star. Exhale, goddess. Let's take three of those elbows and wrists together. 1, 2, 3. Press into the feet, five-pointed star. Pivot the feet, fold forward, prasarita. Just a round of breath here. Pivot to the top of the mat, step the right foot back, pause here, lower to forearms. Locate your breath. Find that engagement, that lift. Walk the feet in, dolphin pose. And then walk the feet back out. Moving with control, come up to tall arms. We're going to take that side plank on the right. Hips are lifting high. Bring the left hand back to the mat. If you want it, double that chaturanga. Otherwise, move straight through. Kneading back in downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, top of the mat. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Hands come to heart center, hinge forward, twist to the left. Left elbow right elbow stays on left knee. Start to lower the hips. Bring the left elbow to the left hip. Hands come to the mat. Start to bring the crown of the head in the direction of the fingertips, but moving away. See if the feet can lift. Even if they don't, pressing palms down into the mat, building strength and heat. If your feet have left the mat, bring them back down. Come back through chair pose. Press into the feet, mountain pose. Moving into tree, left foot roots down. Lift the right foot to the ankle, the shin, or the thigh. Once there, hands can stay at heart center or reach up overhead, palms pushing into one another. Keep the hands pressing together, but release the knee forward into a one-legged mountain. Hands can come to heart center. Once you have your balance here, we'll start to move to warrior three. Right foot reaches towards the back of the space. Arms reach forward. And once again, let's think about what the arms are doing. Palms facing towards one another. Thumbs towards the ceiling, lift them a little higher. Pull the fingertips away. One more breath. Bend the left knee, reach the right toes back. Get organized in your crescent lunge. Take an inhale. Exhale, goalpost and hover. Inhale up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, flying. Exhale, back to two. Inhale here. Exhale, extended. Inhale, reverse. Come back to warrior two. Turn to face the side of the mat, goddess pose. Lower down. 3 times with those crunches. Once, twice. Press into the feet, lift up. Pivot the feet for Prasarita, fold forward. Option to clasp hands behind you if you'd like. Full round of breath here. Then pivot to face the top of the mat. Walk the left foot back, lower to forearms. Start to walk your feet in, dolphin pose. And then walk it back. Forearm plank. Come up to tall arms, side plank on the left. Bring the right hand back to the mat. Chaturanga, last one if you want to double it up. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Bring knees wide, sink the hips back. Find yourself a child's pose. If you're in child's pose, come back to down dog. And then bring your feet to the top of the mat. Come to a halfway lift. And then forward fold. Come all the way up, mountain pose. Feet come as wide as the mat. Sink down, Malasana, yogi squat. Palms press into one another. Press down into your heels to create engagement in this pose and safety for the hips. You want to sway a little bit side to side if that feels good. You can go ahead and lift the heels coming onto the toes and lower. Moving with control, lift and lower. Once more. And we'll take a crow pose. One more arm balance. Hands come a little wider than shoulder width apart. And just start to lift the hips and press down into the palms. Any direction I give, if you were to pause there, you are building arm strength. As long as the hands are in the mat, pressing down. Start to bend the elbows, bring knees to the forearms or the upper arms. Then the key here is not to gaze down towards your fingers, but to look out 1 to 2 feet in front of you so that it automatically shifts your weight into the upper arms until maybe one foot becomes light, maybe both. If crow pose is something you find easily, maybe you want to try hopping the toes back. It requires a lot of arm strength to really press down into the mat in order to safely bring the feet back into a plank pose. Wherever you are, come back out, and we will meet in a seated position on the mat. Feet extend out. Flex the feet. Kind of tilt the pelvis forwards. It's in this nice sort of anterior position. Arms reach high. And then start to come forward, first with a flat back, and then release it down for a forward fold. Come back up tall, bend your knees. Bring your palms behind you, fingertips facing in. We're gonna take a reverse tabletop. So start to lift the hips. You should feel this nice stretch in the shoulders. For your neck, you should either look out in front of you, or if it's okay for your neck, you can look all the way back. Trying to hold the neck somewhere in between can be a lot of strain. So kind of pick all the way flexed or all the way extended, whichever one feels best for you. And then as we lower, keep your heels right where they are. Press into your palms. Start to lower the hips and see if maybe the hips can stay lifted. Swing the hips back behind the hands, staying lifted, pressing into the palms. Then let's swing back up, reverse tabletop. And we'll swing it back down, palms pressing into the mat. Coming back up, reverse tabletop. And back down. How about one last time? Get that nice shoulder stretch and some strength, and then release it down. We'll come back and we'll find a boat pose. Feet lift up off the mat. Abs are engaged, arms reaching long in front of you. And in the interest of continuing our kind of arm work and range of motion, we're going to row the boat. So pretend you have an oar, and you're going to row to one side and row to the other side. I don't know about you, but my arms are feeling pretty tired at this point. So getting some nice range of motion in order to distract me from the work that my core is doing. Very helpful. We'll row one more time on each side. And then hug knees into the chest and roll onto your back. Once you're there, we'll take a happy baby. Always an opportunity to massage my feet. Some kind of rock side to side. And then bring your feet down to the mat, knees pointing up towards the ceiling. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. You can stay here, or you can hug that left knee in towards your chest, holding behind the thigh or the shin. Then keep the cross of the ankles, but bring the left foot back down to the mat and let that whole shape come over to the left side. The right foot can come down to the mat so that the knee is still up and pointing towards the ceiling. And you can press the knee away towards the front of the mat to get more stretch to the outside of the right hip. If you're not feeling that and you want it to go all the way into twisted root, feel free. Come back to center, uncross the legs. We'll take that on the other side. Left knee crosses over right thigh. You can stay here or hug in, hold on to the thigh or the shin. To get a little deeper, you can flex the left foot and move it just a little bit over to the right. Just a little deeper into the hip. And replace the right foot down on the mat, but keep the cross of the ankle. And you can let that whole shape fall over to the right side. If it feels good, you can press the knee towards the front of the space. I feel that a lot in the left hip, my T-band. Or you can take it all the way into twisted root. Come back to center, uncross the knees, and bring the soles of the feet together, coming to Supta Baddha Konasana. And while you're here, I invite you to kind of revisit one of the stretches we did at the very beginning of class, bringing the right arm across the body, and then holding it, pressing it in with the left. Go ahead and release that. We'll take it on the other side. Left arm comes across the body. Right hand hugs it in, deepening the stretch through the left shoulder. And go ahead and release that. Release the legs out. We'll take a full body stretch. Reaching arms and legs in opposite directions. And then we'll take a little banana asana, moving the upper body over to the right side of the mat and moving the feet over to the right side. Then you can cross the left foot over the right, hold on to the left wrist with the right hand, getting a nice deep stretch through the left side of the body. Come back to center. We'll take that over to the left side. Cross the right ankle over the left. Taking deep breaths into the right side of the body. And come back to center. And we'll come into Shavasana. I invite you to take this with the legs in a vertical position. So if you're near a wall or a piece of furniture, you can bring the hips all the way up against the wall and then release the back onto the mat, allowing the feet to be completely vertical but supported by the wall or furniture. And then once you're there, release the breath. Let go of thoughts and plans for these few more minutes we have here on our mat. If you have more time and would like to stay where you are, please feel free. If you're ready to move, take a big deep breath. If your legs are up, slowly hug the knees into the chest. And then roll on to one side. Pausing here, sending yourself some gratitude for your practice, your work on your mind and your body, and certainly today on your arms. And then come up to a seated position. And we will close by chanting Om one last time together. Exhaling out all existing air. Take a nice deep inhale. Bringing hands to heart center if you can still lift them. Thank you for choosing yoga and sharing it with me. Hands to third eye center, bowing forward. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, you guys.